Hey, what's up everyone? Back to cover this early slate for Wednesday. We have two slates today as we usually do on Wednesdays. We'll be covering both. We're going to look at the early slate of this video, so let's get right into it. Once again, you guys have been crushing it with the likes, and I really appreciate all the support, so be sure to drop a like and subscribe down below if you have not already subscribed. And you can hit the bell icon to get notified whenever I post a video. So on this early slate, we have 5 games. We have decent amount of pitching options to choose from with Garrett Cole leading the way here at 11-4. I don't mind him against the Reds, but I'd much rather take like a $2,000 savings almost and play Blake Snell here against a Yankees team that he's dominated this year, and for his career, he's really had some great success against the Yankees. This year, he put up 29 and 25 in 2 starts against the Yankees, and he's been really good this year with the strikeouts, 101 strikeouts in just 75 innings. And I wouldn't be surprised at all if the Yankees decide to hold Giancarlo Stanton out for this one, just because it's a day game following a night game. And Stanton's making his first start yesterday after over 2 months, so I think they might be a little cautious with Stanton. And that would help Snell from the power perspective. But if Stanton's in there, it won't really deter me from Snell, just because we all know Stan strikes out a ton, and Snell, with his upside that he has for strikeouts, he could easily get Stanton to strike out at least a couple times. So either way, I love the price tag on Snell. It's not often to get him at under 10,000. He was over 11,000 just a few starts ago, so it's a really good bargain here for Snell, and I want to take advantage of it. Next up, I love Patrick Corbin here at 8,200. He's just way too cheap. Going to be taking the hill for the first game of this doubleheader. He's just so cheap. His average price tag on Draftkings this year was $10,250. He's only 8,200 on this slate. He's getting over a $2,000 savings from his normal price tag. He was even over 11,000 for a couple starts. We know he has the upside. He has the talent. These couple extra days off that he's gotten, I think, will help him get back on track. Just help him regroup. So I really like that. And the Phillies lineup hasn't been great as of late. They're also dealing with some injuries with Jay Bruce and Real Muto. Real Muto is definitely not going to be catching both halves of the doubleheader, so we'll see which half he catches. And then Bruce, lefty. I think Corbin can neutralize Bruce if he's going to be in there. But really like the spot for Corbin at home. He should not be cheaper than Zach Eflin. He should definitely be over 9,000 at least. So I love this price tag for both of these guys. It's not often that you get a roster of pitchers with Corbin's and Snell's caliber, and you still have $4,000 to spend up for your hitters, and that's where we are on this slate, so I'm pretty happy about that. At first base today, I really like Matt Adams here facing Zach Eflin. Adams has been on a tear as of late, and we know Eflin's struggles come against lefties like a lot of the Phillies pitchers. This year, Eflin has given up 8 of his 11 home runs have come against lefties. They have a .477 slugging percentage off of Eflin, hitting 250. The xFIP is 5.3. He has a 90% almost left on base percentage, which means he's getting really lucky. His numbers should be even worse to lefties, but he still has a 2.1 home run per 9. He's been really good against righties. He's holding them to just a .59 home run per 9. So I really want to focus on the lefties from the Nationals, specifically a guy with Matt Adams' power. So much power for Adams against right-handed pitching. And the way he's swinging the bat, I think he can do some damage here in a hitter's-friendly ballpark. It's supposed to be nice hitting weather for this first game, I believe, at least. And this year he has a .265 average against righties, 8 home runs in just 102 at-bats. He has a .284 ISO to go with a .549 slugging percentage. So much power for Adams. Love the spot for him. Next up at shortstop, I'm going to go with Marcus Semien. So the A's are probably by far the best stack, the top stack on this early slate. They're facing a terrible pitcher here in Rogers. They might face an opener, I think that's what I saw in Fantasy Labs. But either way, they should get to face Rogers for most of the innings, and he's been terrible. 7.88 ERA in 8 innings of relief for the Orioles this year. He's given up 3 home runs in those 8 innings, 9 hits, just 2 strikeouts. Not a good pitcher at all. The Orioles bullpen is also not good, and he only had a 13% K rate in AAA, so not a good strikeout pitcher at all. And the A's have some really good contact hitters. They are a top 5 team in the league against left-handed pitching. I love the A's stack on this early slate like most people, but I'm going to start off with Marcus Semien. He's been swinging a hot bat as of late, as you see. Lots of decent games for him. He has power with 10 bombs on the season. And he's known to be a lot better against lefties than righties. And I believe that is the case this season as well. He bats leadoff for the A's. Should get probably 5 at-bats at least, maybe 6, depending on how good this deck takes off. And that's correct. He's pretty good against lefties. 299 batting average this year in 77 at-bats. He has a couple bombs. He has a 156 ISO, 455 slugging percentage. He also doesn't strike out much at just 12.8% against lefties. And career-wise, he's been much better against lefties, almost a 30-point higher batting average. And the ISO is over 40 points higher. The slugging is much, much higher. Striking out less too. I love the spot here from Marcus Semien leading off. In the outfield, I'm going to go with Michael Brantley here. I like the Astros quite a bit too against Tyler Mahle, specifically the lefties. And Brantley has just been a really solid hitter for the Astros this season. Show you the numbers from Mahle. They are not very appealing against lefties, and with Brantley in there, with probably Alvarez, even though he's not in the projected lineup on Fantasy Labs, I assume he's going to play. But Mahle's given up a 537 slugging to lefties, 285 batting average, 8 home runs have come against lefties. He has a 2.4 home run per 9. Strikeout rate is way less against lefties. xFIP is almost at 5. Love the spot for some of these. And he gives a gives up a really high fly ball rate against lefties. 40% fly ball rate to lefties. Only a 23.3% fly ball rate to righties. So I want to load up on the lefties from the Astros. I do like Brantley here. He just doesn't strike out like literally at all against righties. It's really, really low strikeout rate for him against righties. And he has power. Hits for high average. Just does everything you want. He has a 289 batting average against righties this year. 8 home runs. He has just a 7.4% K rate against righties. Really, really low, obviously. A 207 ISO to go with a 505 slugging percentage. And I love the spot for him. Here, he also hits a little bit more fly balls against righties at 32%. But I think Brantley can get the job done here against Mahle. And last but not least, I like Chris Davis quite a bit. He's only 4,000. Like I said, Draftkings really needs to get on it and bump his price tag up. He's going to be probably 80% owned in double-ups today, but he should be facing a lefty and a bad bullpen for the Orioles. And Davis this year has been really good against lefties too. So he's been tremendous power. He's shown tremendous power against both sides of the plate. And he's facing a very low strikeout pitcher. As I showed you, the pitcher Rogers had like a 13% K rate in AAA, and that should go down to like 10% in the major leagues. But Davis has a 295 batting average against lefties with 7 home runs in just 61 at-bats. That is insane. That gives him a 639 slugging to go with a 344 ISO. Obviously, Chris Davis is in a tremendous spot. So those are 6 players I like. Still leaves you plenty to spend for the rest to fill it out. I'm going to go through, since it's a short slate, going to go through the other players that I would consider here. Lots of interest in the Astros lefties, like I said. So I love Alvarez if he's going to be in the lineup. Fantasy Lab doesn't have him in the projected lineup, but I think he's still going to play. They didn't have him in the projected lineup yesterday either, and he still played third. Still batted like third or fourth. I like Alvarez a ton facing Mahle. Maybe if Josh Reddick's going to be in the lineup, you can go to him. And Tony Kemp, if you need a cheap second baseman, I don't mind him. No interest in the Reds here against Garrett Cole. Just think you can do much better on a slate like this. Here, I'm thinking to look at a couple Rays against against Sabathia. CC Sabathia has been decent. Gets into a little bit of trouble against righties, so I don't mind going with like Garcia or Tommy Pham. Both are reasonably priced. I like those 2 guys. If you need a cheap shortstop, Adames makes sense. And besides those 3, don't have much interest in the Rays. Maybe you can look at like Zunino as a cheap catcher if he's going to be in there. No interest in the Yankees here against Blake Snell unless you're playing like a bunch of teams. Here, like I said, the Nationals have interest in the lefty. So Adam Eaton at 39. I don't mind him. Although I'd much rather pay a little bit up and just grab Juan Soto at 41. So I love Soto, I love Adams, and I like Eaton if you're going to be full stacking. But the top two for me are Adams and Soto on the Nationals. No real interest in the Phillies against Corbin. I don't think I want to go here. The A's, like I said, I like a lot of them. I like Piscotty at 36. I like Marcana. I like Chris Davis. I like Simeon. I like Pinder. I like Olsen. I like, maybe not Olsen if he's going to be facing a lefty, but I like those other five. Full stack the A's on this slate. And the Orioles facing, Bassett. Don't really have any interest in the Orioles. They have a really low total. It's a huge ballpark downgrade. And besides Mancini and besides Nunez, they just don't have that many power hitters in the lineup. Especially in this ballpark, I'll be shocked if guys like Alberto can hit one out in this ballpark. And last but not least, here we go with the Brewers and the Padres. I have a decent amount of interest in the Padres against Davies. He's been good, but he doesn't strike people out, and the Padres have really good power numbers against right-handed pitching, especially a guy that doesn't strike many out. I think they can do some damage. I think they will be sneaky. So I like Franmil Reyes at 3,800. That price tag sticks out a ton. I like him. I like Will Myers. I like Machado. Tatis is a little too expensive for me on this slate. And I like Eric Hosmer at first base. And on the Brewers are facing, we'll see who the Brewers are facing. They're facing Strahm, a lefty. When the Brewers are facing lefty, I have interest in a couple guys like Lorenzo Cain at 41, Ryan Braun at 44, Arcia at 34, Hernan Perez at 35, and Aguilar at 37. The Brewers are pretty cheap, so I don't mind going with them. But the top stack is going to be the Athletics, followed by the Astros for me, and followed by the lefties from the Nationals. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. Drop a like if you did, and good luck.